We're good. Okay. Hey guys, what's going on? Gosh, I don't know where to start. I know it's been a while. If you're watching this live, and if you're one of my like, you know, many little bit of followers that I have in the future, slowly gaining right now, and if you're with me, if you've been with me, thank you so much for sticking around. Really appreciate you and following my life and all of the crazy things that are happening. Oh my God. Yes, a lot of crazy things are happening in my life. Cool things, actually. And I just want to say I appreciate the YouTube community. Um, a year ago, my whole life, I don't want to say changed. Yes, it did. My whole life changed a year ago. And I was in a situation to where I was immediately thrown into literally helping my family. When I tell you, I always thought that God sent me down here for a reason, right? I know that sounds weird to do certain things. I just can't explain it. It's just this feeling inside. It's, oh God. So I'll tell you how it works. That way you can understand what this means. When you have these feelings that you've been given a responsibility to do certain things on this earth, they won't just be feelings. They'll be visions. They won't be like full on visions either. I mean, some people might get those. I get them. Actually, no. You can get full on visions. I'm not gonna lie. But I have reason to believe that in some way, fashion, or form, when you die, you come back. And not only do you come back, or can you come back, not everyone comes back. However, there are certain energies that are stronger than others that come back. These energies have responsibilities in terms of influencing the timeline oh God, now I sound like a whole like a science fiction TV show. No, follow me. If you know, you know. If you guys are watching right now, I'm trying to give you some information that could possibly help you, and if it does, great. So this is how this works. Um, in order to know that God has given you a responsibility to do things, and actually know that it has to be a feeling first. This feeling has to translate into like little visions here and there. You'll blank out into thought at times, to where you'll feel like you're doing something else, or that could be helping people. It could be a job. It could be, or you could be extremely just like feeling empty, like you're supposed to be doing that thing, but you're not doing it. And then once that happens, you start having like visions of you doing that thing. You start imagining or seeing yourself doing it as if you're using your imagination, but you're not. You're not creating these thoughts. These are previous thoughts. They're like a mixture of both, actually. It's like they're colliding every time you focus on it. It's like they, you know what I mean? And so these are the visions, right? This is how they work. You can focus on them and tune into them if you get really good at meditating. That's possible. But hopefully, I was able to give you a little bit of information of how to interpret those visions to understand this responsibility. And if you are having this experience and this is happening to you, then there's a high possibility that you have been given your energy is supposed to be here influencing other people with the responsibility attached to it. That's all I know. I'm not gonna. That's all. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Um, and so okay, I'll say one last thing. The one last thing that I'll say is that I have also reason to believe that our energies are like timestamps on this earth, that leave signatures. When you die, your body generates chemical activity that's similar to like a nuclear or whatever, or God, what am I trying to say? The moment your body dies and the energy that it releases from its body matches that of, you know, really powerful energy. I think that's why I use the word nuclear or whatever. Okay, so with that said, um, when this happens, and if you're watching right now, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. When you die, when you leave this earth, this is why you're. When I say that you can come back, you can come back. You are walking electricity. You're walking. This is just how electricity works. Energy can linger forever. Energy doesn't just leave immediately. It can stay there in that same spot. Think of gamma rays, think of nuclear, think of um, Hiroshima, think of that, right? Think of, you know, your body has the same type of energy when it leaves this earth, right? Just follow me, yeah? And so with that said, it also sends that burst of energy that gets sent out leaves with a part of your soul. Um, um, your body is what makes you conscious of your soul. But without your body and your soul together, you're you're nothing um, but energy, right? So anyway, um, so this is real. Um, I hope I was able to explain it in such a way that you can understand why it's real. Um, I'm talking about this now because I think God told me that I can do it. He told me that he gave me permission to go ahead and start telling you these things. And the only people that I actually know that I'm telling the truth and what I'm saying is truthful are the people that have been studying it for years at first. Other people will eventually come to understand, but the most powerful thing in the world is being able to explain something that's taken decades to figure out and to be able to explain it to someone who's been studying that same thing to where they know that automatically by listening to the answer that it is the answer. Yeah, there you go. That's quantum physics for you. Um, no, I didn't go to school to study these things. I just, God, I, oh, never mind. I don't want to talk about stuff like this anymore. So it always made me weird. Even I've never felt the same as everyone else. I've always felt different. I've always felt like I've been this awkward consciousness, aware of everything around me, where I'm living in a world where I can see that people are not aware at all. It's like I'm kind of alone, but not alone. It's kind of creepy. It's like being around human zombies that are living in these different levels and realities of consciousness, and they're not aware of it. And I am. And so now I'm going to talk about it. And it feels good to talk about it now. It feels great. It feels good. God said that this information, when it's heard by the right people, they'll automatically know that what I'm saying is something to be studied and something extremely important and something that no one else has discovered, I guess, and has been right about. I don't know. That sounds like how it sounds. That's why that's why I got my smoke, because it slows my mind down whenever I start getting all weird. But, I just started watching this show called Stranger Things, right? And I'm gonna start talking, and I'm gonna talk from my truth. And when you hear me talk, it might sound weird, but trust me, this is how I always felt about things around me and people around me. And I'm gonna explain, and just watch. Oh God, this is gonna feel so weird. I'm ready. I am ready. They've been making movies about us for years. They have been making movies about us for years. Every time I see these movies, these TV shows, these superhero shows, these shows with all these characters and these abilities, I laugh because to see humans create a version of the true nature of what they are and watch them for its entertainment is very sad and very I don't know. It's sad and depressing. It's sad and depressing. It's very sad and depressing. Um, you've been making movies about us. You've been doing it for years. Because you've done this, you humans have gotten to the point to where they see this as a fantasy, and it's gonna get to the point to where this fantasy that they're entertained by in terms of the films that you created that shows a different version of the true nature of who and what they are. Oh God, I'm trying to go. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm sorry. It's uncomfortable. I'm gonna get comfortable. You've made movies about us for years, and everything that you guys have made movies about, it's real. To the extent that you've made them, I wouldn't say so much, but I could tell you the one truth that I see that's connected to all of these films that you've created, these movies, they all have one thing in common, and the one thing in common is that you guys, you humans, are aware of the versions of yourselves and the possibility of what you could be and who and what you are, right? And that's why it's fascinating to see you create these films, because it's like they know what they are, but they aren't what they are supposed to be. And this is what I think every time I see a movie, a film, an action movie, whether it be Marvel, it could be anything. Because I know the truth. And the truth is that humans don't understand who and what they are and why God created them and what they're capable of. And they've become disconnected with their energy, their body's energy, their body's electrical energy. And God specifically works on this energy because this energy is how God is connected to all humans. It's through this electric energy. It's through this light that's inside everyone. That's why you hear people say that God's inside of you, right? And it can be activated. And so just imagine all these people with this electricity, this light. Their electricity is dimmed. Your electricity is dimmed. And you can only imagine the idea of who and what you're supposed to be and create movies and films about them. But I feel good that I'm saying this. I don't know who's gonna watch this, and I don't know at what point, why this is important, but I do know that God said that my voice is powerful. I'm supposed to help a lot of people, and He said that I'm supposed to be extremely, extremely wealthy, and that I'm going to be able to do a lot of things that a lot of people wish they could do. Not just financially, but in many different ways, and mentally, physically, and emotionally. God also told me that I've been here before. It's not something that He actually told me. It's the feeling that I explained earlier. I eventually prayed so much that I did get around to, confirmation that this is who I am and this is what it is. This is the reason why when I walk down the street or when I walk into a room, um, the energy will completely change in the room. People will get extremely excited when they see me. Um, whenever someone can be angry, and if I were to walk into the room, I hope this gets to the right person. If I walk into a room and there's a whole bunch of angry people, they wouldn't have to say anything, but they get really happy. They would get really happy. They would, um, if somebody were standing next to me in a store, this just happened today actually, it was kind of cool. If somebody were standing next to me in a store, and let's say they were, started arguing with the person in front of them for whatever reason, because I'm standing next to them, they would stop arguing. Sometimes this is automatic. It really depends on how angry the person is, actually, in terms of how quick that happens. It does work. It works on proximity. I can tell you that much. I know it works on proximity. Um, I make people drop things all the time, all the time. Oh my God! And no, and it's recently it's been happening more to where I've been able to tap. I've been able to like connect with other people in their fear of my energy. It's my energy is supposed to be super strong that when someone looks at me, they'll automatically become. They'll automatically experience a rush of emotions within seconds, which could distract them. So, yeah, could distract them and cause them to do things like drop things like their phones, or it could be a bag that they're carrying, or it could be, right? Now, all of this is controllable. I can control it. There's a way to control it. It's not something that you just do. You have to, in order to control this, why am I doing this? Take a deep breath and smile. Okay. So, where was I? Literally, I just forgot where I was. Dude. Controlling the energy, right? Controlling this thing that it's a gift from God, okay? My energy is a little bit different from other people's energy. I have reason to believe that if the government I have reason to believe that the government can create technology that can identify the strength of a human's energy, their energy field, from a far distance. It's kind of like infrared, but it's not. It's not infrared. It uses similar technology like infrared technology. However, its goal is to focus on your body's electricity, the amount of electricity that your body is emitting, right, from a far distance, like a satellite, to where they could use this and do so many things with it. I'll give you some examples of what you could do with this, right? You could monitor a large group of humans and their emotions and connection to their body's electricity, right? And you can eventually create a map to determine the electric current of the human body and how much electricity it emits throughout the humans in their during their while experiencing their emotions, right? Um, this could be used to do things like know if, God, how can I give you a good example? Okay, so based off of what I just told you, sorry, I have an itch. You should be able to use this technology and monitor a large group of humans and their emotions in connection to the electricity that their body emits. When their bodies emit this electricity, based on their emotions, like happy, sad, angry, different things like that, you'll be able to see the strongest emotions that, or the emotions, and it's their connection to the strength of electricity that the bodies emit. You'd be able to use this as a pattern to see if this happens amongst a large group of humans. At that point, you'd be able to develop, because these are frequencies, by the way, you'd be able to develop other technologies that would be able to tap into the frequencies of the humans and reverse engineer the same situation. What this means is you could make a large group of humans angry, right? If you were able to get to the point to where you could utilize this uh, technology to monitor the human body's energy field and translate that over into frequency and based on their emotions um, and if you can do that and tap into the frequency of fear, for example, you could create devices that replicated the same energy that was emitted during moments of fear for humans. And you could actually use this technology and emit that same energy or frequency back to that group of humans in order to escalate or cause them to become more angry or happy or sad. Um, this could also be used to change decisions that are going to be made, important decisions. For example, let's say you didn't want someone to sign a document that was going to change the world, and you had to get them angry, and this technology existed. You could use it to emit the same frequency of fear energy that the body emits whenever a person is angry towards this person during the time of them signing this document. And then at that point, I think I need some water.
Hi, you are currently being recorded.
I never lost my connection to God. I chose to ignore it. I chose to experience humans because it's so exciting. So my energy is very strong. Um, if this technology existed, my energy, for example, would be significantly different from the other humans. It'd be really easy to identify me amongst a large group of humans and using this technology. Um, it's not just me that exists like this. There are others like there are others like me. That's kind of cool, and I know that now. I didn't know that before, but yes, there are others like me. There's a song that I would listen to when I would drive down the street road in California in the canyons, in Calabasas, by the way, and in Malibu. And there was a song I would play. It was from like Tarzan, if I'm not mistaken. And I loved the song because it had this one line in it that said that I want to find the others like me. So if this is what this video is for, you'll know if I'm telling the truth based off of how I explain things. Whether I laughed and you felt like that was indirect sarcasm or me not being truthful. One thing that I know about all the others like me you have been given the gift to be able to understand the truth based off of how another human explains things and utilizes their energy simultaneously while doing so. This is how you'll know. So I don't have to sit and wonder if this is going to get to the right person. I know it's going to get to you. I know it's going to get to you because that's what my intentions are. God said that as long as I learn frequency and why it's important in connection to Him, that I'll be able to do exactly what He sent me down here to do at any given point in time, as long as I decide to make that choice and to choose. And I chose for years to enjoy being here. I could go down a list of many things, and if I were to explain them to you, it would probably make you think, well, sound a little weird, but here I'll give you one example of I love seeing other humans make mistakes. I love seeing this because I see and understand the true nature of what the other humans are. Not just mistakes, also good things too, like abilities like to run fast or to sing. Those are it's pleasurable. It makes me feel good to see that. It makes me feel like it's like they're my babies, and it's like, oh, look at all of my babies. They can do this, but then it's sad when I see that they can't do the other thing that they've been making all the movies about, right? And that they don't understand what it means, and they become afraid of themselves. That's sad to me. You know, this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I've always thought in my mind. And I've never really wanted to talk about it because I've always kind of like ignored this. I always would lie to myself and say that it was just random thoughts in my mind, but then eventually I understood that they weren't random thoughts because I started praying more, and eventually, God, I began to pray more, and praying more led me to being able to connect with God a lot more easy or Lee, and easierly, and oh, that's a word. Yeah, that's a word. Easierly, maybe. Never mind. Is that a word? So, God said that I was being attacked spiritually by other humans who utilize the anger energy to attack other humans, right? That I explained earlier, because you can do this. God said that the humans would become disconnected with their energy and how to use it, to the point to where they would use it haphazardly, unknowingly. They would unknowingly use their body's energy, and they would hurt each other, and it would almost seem like a joke to them if you explained to them that this existed, and that they could do these things. They would become so ignorant and normalized lifestyles of ignorance that they would normalize the ignorance of the possibility of them being able to connect with their body's electricity, and use their mind to be able to change their body's frequency, temperature, right? And one of the strongest energies that would overcome the humans would be the fear energy. The fear energy would connect with anger, and it would connect with hate, and it would connect with hate, anger, and all of the other negative energies and frequencies, right? This would become the most prevalent and strongest because humans would understand something about this energy and their electricity, but they wouldn't know why. And I know that sounded probably confusing, but let me explain what I mean by that. They wouldn't know why, for example, whenever they get mad or extremely angry, um, and they're right next to each other, they wouldn't they wouldn't consciously get to the point to where they all uh, over time understand that their heart rate is going beating fast, and that at the point that they're of anger and that energy that they're passing it to the other person. I don't know if I was able to explain that right, but that's also something that's funny. So when I watch people fight, I don't see people fighting. I see a transfer of energy that they don't know that they're transferring, and that's why I get excited because I can see it. I can see it like almost as if you can see colors, right? Sometimes I can see colors, but I see energy, and that's almost like seeing colors. Seeing energy is like seeing frequencies. I can feel frequencies and see energies in people, and so that's my gift. And my gift is being able to connect with this energy amongst a large group of people, a mass group of people actually, to where without a doubt, without words, they'd be able to feel it and know that it was my energy. To the point to where they'd see it, it'd be the most obvious thing, and then they'd all become extremely curious about it. And then they'd start thinking that they'd start to see who and what I am, and there would be nothing that I could do about it. And what they would see is extreme happiness. They would see a prince, they would see this very powerful energy, this very powerful energy. They'd feel it, and it'll happen all at the same time, and I wouldn't be able to stop them from thinking it because they'll be able to see the true nature of who and what I am, and in turn this should help influence a lot of people at the same time. So I think, so just imagine if I amplified my energy and this were true. The spirit world does exist. One of the cool things about me is that the spirits they're not afraid of me, but they know who I am, and they want the same thing God wants for me to do here while I'm here. They want me to do the same things that God wants me to do while I'm here. That's kind of cool. Spirits visit other people all the time without asking them, without permission or spying on them. Spirits can, yeah, they can do all that stuff, right? But with me, it's more of a fear. Even imagine a demon being afraid of you. Not all demons, however, the stronger ones are the ones that are kind of scary because they're really strong. Their energies, right? These energies can transform and take form into other things that you might not be aware of, and attach them to your body's electricity, right? And they could be just kind of floating out there. I can't wait to see who's gonna watch this and what you guys think. Comment and let me know what you guys think about all this when you watch it. I don't know why. I was gonna come on here and talk about music stuff, but God was like, nope, I want you to talk about who you are, no matter how crazy it sounds, and just do it. And that's what I'm doing right now. This is who I am. This is my truth. This is how I feel. This is how I've always felt. This is what I think. Even as I make my music, as I make everything else, I make them knowing, and I do everything that I do knowing that I can, and that I am who I am. And that's the only reason why I can do these things. For example, I never knew, I always just thought I was a smart person, but I never knew that you're not supposed to be able to sit inside of a room with no books, no education, no nothing, and start coming up with ideas, these things, this information, this, as if you studied those things for years, but you didn't, but you just knew what to do all of a sudden. And I didn't know that this was a form of energy that was being received. Thoughts. Humans have to work hard to create creative thoughts. They have to train their brains to create creative thoughts, right? For me, I don't have to do this. I don't know why. Um, I tried to connect with the ideology of, oh, this just means I'm a smart person. And then that kind of worked for a while, until it got to the point to where I started to feel like it's weird, like, like I would question why I knew what I knew. And the reason why I would do that was because, okay, yeah, I know, is because I would start hearing from other people that it's not normal. They would tell me that it's like churches, spiritual groups would explain this as not being normal, um, and that this meant that you were receiving information from somewhere else. And so I thought about that a lot. I'm like, wait a minute, does this truly mean if you put someone in a room without any education or information and they were able to come up with the language, speak, just do all these things that and I just sat hard and thought about that. And that was really how I really started to understand who and what I was, is when I continued to be able to do these things that, for example, I built a house. I built a house. I built a tiny home, in California. It's still there. If you guys want to go and find it and take pictures of it, maybe it'll become a museum one day. I don't know. I built this whole house by myself. I only watch like one YouTube video, literally, and I built a bathroom before I built the house. Okay, I owned some land during the time in California, and I decided that I wanted to create a campground. There was nothing on the land at all. It was 4.7 acres, almost 5. So just imagine walking on. Oh God, I miss it a little bit. I miss it a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. But just, oh my God, I do. Such a good. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna buy that land back. Wow. Can't believe I lost it. I lost the property. I left the property and let it go, but I do miss it. Why did I? Oh yeah, I built a house. Yeah, I built a tiny home. That's why I brought that up. So I built a tiny home all by myself. If you guys ever want to see like videos of that, let me know. I'll post them. I've never posted any of those videos of me creating or building this home, but I built a tiny home all by myself. I watched one YouTube video of some guy building a bathroom, and this is what I'm telling you about the getting information from somewhere else, and then it starts to feel weird, and now I'm like, wait a minute, I just built a house. What in the world? That's when it gets scary, when I start to be able to do things that I myself come to understand is not normal, which, for example, a car. I could watch one video or a couple videos on building a car and literally build that car by myself, maybe, I think. Yeah, I could definitely think I can do that. I think I can do it. I know I can do it, and that's the scary part. That's the scary part. It's not the idea of being able to do any. You guys have this saying, it's you can do anything you put your mind to. No, that's not what it is with me. With me, I just know what to do, and that is scary. I become whatever it is that I'm supposed to become in order to do what I need to do. So yeah, and I built a house, and it's in California somewhere, and it's a tiny home. Uh, I watched the video for the bathroom first, and then I just remembered the basics of how I put that bathroom together and came up with a larger scale version of that. No, I didn't sit and like ask you ChatGPT. No, I just in my mind, literally, I stared at the wood and at the structure, and then boom, all of a sudden, so these things come in visions. Yes, this I can tell you. For me, they come in visions. All of a sudden, boom, I see this tiny home in my mind. It's almost as if it's painful that it's not already built yet, and it's as if I don't build it, my heart's gonna burst. I don't know, that sounds weird, right? It's just the visions keep coming, and it's like they start to feel physical, and it's like as you're getting closer to the it's like it's catching up. It's like, but if you don't do it, you start to feel weak, out of sync with what's supposed to be. Yeah. Cheers. I'm tempted, almost tempted to eat that candy. I got a bag of candy sitting on my desk, the table, and I'm thinking about eating it. Oh, God. Thank you for listening to all of that. If you really, really took the time to sit and listen to all that. If you're looking at this video for research purposes, I give you permission to use this video and to help further your studies. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability. I'll give you another example. When I was a kid growing up, I would draw. I would try to teach my dad how to create spaceships. And I wouldn't just teach him how to create the spaceship. I would actually draw out the schematic for the spaceship and show him how it was supposed to work and just how it was supposed to get put together and why. And that's so if I could build an aircraft that could fly, that you guys would call a spaceship. And no matter how invigorating this might feel as I'm sitting here having this conversation, or weird for that matter, because yeah. I just have to say that I'm really happy I said everything I said finally, and that it's recorded and that it's out there on the internet somewhere. That way I don't have to feel like I never said it, or it's never, I did. And this is me saying it. So everything I just said I believe to be true. I also believe that based off of everything I just explained to you, that the human species is capable of being studied over a long period of time. And I feel like human intelligence is extremely important in the survival of this earth, as well as the universe, I don't know if that makes any sense either. Just imagine for 1 second that there was something else outside of this earth that was watching us, that was studying us, in order to see how we would progress and maneuver, not just over a couple of days, but over centuries, millennia, right? And what if this all had something to do with God, and you didn't realize that? And what if one day you were forced to see that there was an actual difference when it came to looking at another human being and feeling their energy and seeing a difference in terms of, and actually seeing that? And what if collectively people could become conscious because of one person who had the ability to connect people's energy together in terms of their connection to their body's electricity and their consciousness. And what if this was a way to wake up everyone, all the humans on the earth? Yeah. All right, I gotta go. And thank you for sticking around. I'm gonna go back on live right now, I think. And I'm gonna play some music to promote my music because I just officially started my record label and I'm really happy about that. It's called Bay Empire Music, by the way. Also known as Bay Empire Productions. Actually, no. So I have Bay Empire Productions that works along with my the record company Bay Empire Music. Bay Empire Productions also handles the production for my music and videos, TV shows, and I also started my own television network as well, to where I'm going to be one of the first AI television networks to produce shows that are being aired on places like Netflix, Tubi, and all that good stuff. So if you guys want to stick around for that, hit the follow button. I'll be making videos about that. The AI shows that I'm going to start out with, they're going to be cartoon based if you're interested. So hit the subscribe button. And whenever that pops up on your timeline, I hope you guys enjoy it. So, but you got to hit the subscribe button first if you want to pop up on your timeline. So, yeah. So thank you for the subscribe. Thank you for all the, future fans, guests, viewers that have watched and that are watching this video right now or my live. And I hope you enjoyed the information that I shared with you in terms of my truth, who I am, and how I've always felt about just being here on this earth, other humans, and their connection to God. And in my head, I'm speaking how my thoughts are. So everything I just said to you is how I think, how my thoughts, especially with the part I was explaining earlier. I'll just be like, oh, look at them, they're so cute. No. But anyways, I gotta go. See you guys later, and thank you so much for sticking around, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right, ciao.